We just finished Wrath of the first expansion for Valhalla. We had the opportunity to propose a fork. After some discussion, very quickly we had the impression that it could have been better to consider that as a standalone, but standalone with Eivor was not possible, obviously. We very quickly switched to the idea of playing Basim as a main character.
I think we had like such freedom with kind of visiting Basim in like his late teens, early 20s, where he's kind of quite far away from where we see him in Valhalla.
In terms of why Basim, well, because in Valhalla, without saying anything, he was a very complex character. And we knew that something bad happened to him. We didn't know what, and we wanted to fill the blanks. I like characters who are not good or bad, and who have very strong failures. And Basim, he's just about failures, and he's trying to do the right things, but it's not always that easy.
In the same challenge was to also make sure that for the players that didn't play Valhalla or will never play Valhalla, the story could end and be understandable and very intriguing and interesting.
So we took the linear aspect of the first ones and the more open world aspect of the last ones. So it's really a mix of them too, because the beginning is very linear, then you enter the city of Baghdad and you can roam the way you want, and you can meet different targets and kill them in the way you want. And then you have an ending.
When you are on the rooftops and look around, it's amazing how many houses and landmarks and things you can see all around. And that's something we couldn't do at the time of AC1. It was really small Jerusalem, really small Damascus. So we went big in that way. But we wanted also, when you are street level, looking at a market, looking at a store, to have an incredible amount of details also at that level. So it's both way, macro and micro.
When we started working on the game, nobody knew in the team what was Baghdad at that time. It's a very unknown time, and we, slowly digged into books and everything. One of the first historical characters I read about was Ali ibn Muhammad, and he's the leader of the rebellion. There was just a couple of lines about him in a book, and I remember reading those lines and just seeing the fact that the character was so appealing just in 2 lines that I had to do something with him. So that was a very specific historical context that could help us, linking the hidden ones with the historical rebellion that was happening at that time.
Baghdad looks incredible, and they've stayed so true to the history of the Middle East around that time, and that it was a melting pot. I think a lot of people don't realize that it was different cultures and religions all mixed together.
It's just like being there. So yeah, first the sunset and the dust in the atmosphere and the colors naturally coming from that. It was great. After that inspiration, we had the Orientalist painters from 19th century, which were very wrong in a way at that moment, because they had a really European view of the Middle Eastern and North African culture. But they were really good painters. So there was some tricks and colors we took from them to stay in that familiar mood.
We found a way to make you feel as you're evolving, as an assassin, as a player, because it's intertwined, obviously, and as a character in the city of Baghdad, even though you can wander the world, even though you can, do different stuff. And also the side quests and the activities and everything we put in there. We didn't do any side quests just for the sake of doing side quests. It was always for a purpose.
For us, it was very important to really bring back the flavor, the nostalgia of acting as an assassin, doing parkour, stealth, etc. The parkour, we try to really get back what made the success of parkour, but with new features like the pole vault, etc.
What I did was I gave them some reference that they could use. I basically did all the parkour that you see in The Office. I kind of gave them that as a reference. I would also yell parkour, but with an Arabic accent. So I was like, parkour! 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 Parkour!
Well, we had a lot of suggestions for the title, but I love it personally because it really reflects the fact that things are not always as they seem, and especially for Basim, it's something that is very Mirage is you're seeing it for a moment, but then it disappears, and
My favorite AC game is AC2 for sure. to me it was like the best of AC1 with like a more mature and more complete game.
Assassin's Creed 1, I would say. It was the one that pulled me in, and I remember I'd never played anything like it. Genetic history to a character and being able to relive your ancestors' lives, and I just found that stuff so cool.
My favorite one is not everyone's favorite, but I love Assassin's Creed 3 for just period history reason, because that's a period, American Revolution. That's one of my historical kink.
Well, I gotta say the first one, because I played the first one when I was much more younger, obviously, and I loved it. So that stick to my mind, and that's nostalgia actually.